We know that, you were a part of Planned Parenthood. You were in a leadership role, and you partnered with all that. But before we talk about how you escaped from there, how God rescued you from that season of life, the question is, how did you end up there? You grew up in a Christian home. You had pro-life views and all those different things. And, going off to college, and just talk to us a little bit about, because you didn't start there, how did you end up in that place where you were, I think you said, a part of more than 20,000 abortions and very prevalent in that community?
Yeah, so, I grew up in church. I was baptized when I was 8. I grew up knowing the Lord, loving Him, serving Him. I can't say I grew up, I remember hearing my parents say that abortion was wrong. But, it was a different time. We didn't sit around the dinner table and talk about abortion, or we didn't have services like this in my church. It was a different time too, in the late 70s, early 80s. Abortion was not talked about it like it is today. Nobody was standing up on a podium and shouting their abortion, right? Abortion was definitely more of a taboo topic. People still had a filter back then, right? So topics of sexuality were not talked about like they are today. People weren't wearing t-shirts that said, I've had an abortion. So people weren't proud of the fact that they had killed their children. And so I think my parents didn't feel the need to talk about it at the dinner table, right? My parents had taught me the biblical pathway to marriage. They had taught me about abstinence. And so I think they just thought, well, as long as our daughter follows that pathway, then abortion will never be on the table. So why would we need to talk about something so unpleasant with our daughter? But I went to college, and, my life changed. I stopped going to church. When I stopped doing godly things, I started doing worldly things. And when I started doing worldly things, my lifestyle began to change. And it started slowly. I didn't go to bed one day as a good Christian kid and wake up the next day as an abortion clinic worker. It happened slowly. It was a slow decline into a lifestyle of immorality. That's the way that sin takes hold of our lives for any of us, not just in the realm of abortion.
Yeah.
Okay? You don't go to bed one night faithful to your wife, wake up the next day an adulterer, right? That's not the way it happens. And so, I started living a worldly lifestyle. I stopped going to church. I started, living a certain way. I started, going to more parties. I started, drinking more. I started dressing a certain way. I started living a more immodest lifestyle, dressing immodestly, speaking immodestly. My language changed. The way I acted changed. I wasn't living a virtuous lifestyle, so I started to attract men who were not looking for a virtuous woman. And then I started wanting attention from these specific type of men, and they wanted to give me a certain type of attention. And then all of a sudden my relationships became physical, and they escalated quickly. And that was when I found myself in my first unplanned pregnancy. And I would love to tell you that, when I saw that positive pregnancy test, that I, stopped and thought to myself, okay, I've been taught that abortion is wrong. I have these amazing parents who have loved me through all of my foolishness, who have loved me unconditionally. Let me let them enter into this conversation. They deserve that. They deserve to have a say in this decision, but I didn't.